before COVID, maybe 2018 or 17.
How did it feel to be out there today?
It felt really good. Yeah, I love the Miller Lite stage. That's where I played this stage last time, and so it felt like home. And the crowd was incredible. It was a really emotional show on a few levels because my debut album Sha Sha just turned 20, and so I'm on tour right now celebrating that and doing a lot of those songs, but also celebrating the life of my son Dorian, who isn't with us anymore.
I just want to let you know that during South by Southwest, I came to your show that you had, and in the days after South by Southwest, I had a song that was stuck in my head, and I kept being like, what is that song? What is that song? It was Hickeys.
Oh my gosh!
I was like,
Hickeys by Zev.
It was Hickeys by Zev. It was stuck in my head. It was such an earworm. How has it felt to go out on the road and help keep him alive through these songs?
It's been incredibly healing, also incredibly sad and heartbreaking. It's all the things. He was a great talent, an incredible songwriter, and the thing about music is, it's a time capsule. It's a document of a time and a place, and even when I play certain songs on stage now, I remember like when I wrote it and where I was in the world, or like, I wrote this in a hotel room in Australia, or it's a marker for our lives as artists. And so I'm very thankful that he was able to put down his ideas musically in the short time he had on Earth.
Do you feel like his spirit is with you when you're playing those songs?
Very much, yeah. And that was a big reason I wanted to play one of his songs today, was because he'll never get to play ACL, and so he did kind of play today in some way. So.
I think that we all kind of felt that.
Yeah.
So Sha Sha, 20 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the songs on that album, I feel like there's a lot of messaging about growth.
Yes.
Personal growth on that album.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to revisit that 20 years later when you're in a different place in your life?
It's funny. I'm still trying to understand songwriting because, and even with everything with Dorian passing away, there's certain songs that I play and I think to myself, wow, like I wrote this before I even had kids, but I'm talking about having kids, and there are lyrics that point to the future of what, like if I wrote a song, all the Sha Sha material I wrote when I was 18 years old, and it's kind of just a strange experience as the performer 20 years later, kind of like singing these words. I can relate to them today, and some of them actually have more meaning today than they did when I was 18. Oh, it's almost like we don't really know what we're doing when we're creating art. It just happens, and that's what's so fun about it. But yeah, there aren't too many cringy moments on that album for me. Sometimes when you listen to your own music, it's kind of like, ugh. But I'm proud of that one. Wasted and Ready, I'm a little like, okay. Some of those lyrics are a little questionable these days for me personally, but it's still a fun song, and to see the smiles on people's faces, that's what I'm there for,
So many people in the audience today were singing along, and they knew every word to the songs. Yeah. Do people come up to you and talk to you about how the songs impacted their lives?
They do, and that has been one of my favorite things about this life that I'm living, is when people come up to me and say, BK, like, your songs got me through the hardest time in my life, or got me through my breakup, or my dad died, or whatever it is, or this was our wedding song, like these life moments. I mean, I'm a very nostalgic person, and that comes through in my songwriting. And so, yeah, that is the best compliment that I ever get as an artist, is when it really touches someone on that level in their life. And I will say, this year on tour, being with my audience in front of me, this is the first time where they're getting me through the hardest time in my life. So it's like this real reciprocal love that's happening, and I feel so fortunate to have that.
Are there any particular shows on this tour that stick out to you?
The Scoot-In show in Austin that you were at really was a standout because so many of Dorian's friends and classmates showed up to that. People that didn't necessarily know my music but knew Zev personally when he was here, and so yeah, that was a big one for me.
I know that you had set up a foundation to work with some of the young skate kids that Zev was part of that community. How has that been going?
Yeah, so it started as a GoFundMe, and now we just got our 501c3. We're a nonprofit. It's called Zev United, and it's going to help out young musicians and skateboarders like he was. And my big idea is to maybe have I don't know what you would call a grant or some kind of artistic grant for someone, maybe one skater and one musician each year gets a few $1,000s to go and pursue their dreams in skating and in music, and not necessarily a musician that reads music or classically trained, just someone that really is a creative, the way Dorian was, and just really feels the music and expresses themselves in a really unique way. So that's the vision.
Have you stayed in pretty close contact with his community of friends?
Very much so. And in fact, we are building a skate park in Dripping Springs, and it's going to be called the Dorian Zev Kweller Memorial Skate Park. They're breaking ground this year, and we're very close with the high school band in Dripping Springs, and that he was very much in that program. He touched so many people, so many different communities in the Austin area, and so yeah, I definitely stay close with them. And he's buried on our family property in Dripping Springs, and it's open to the public because that's one of the rules to do a family burial. You have to have access to future generations. So the plot of land where the cemetery is, it's separated from our ranch, and anyone can go there. So a lot of times we'll be leaving the property and there will be cars there and friends of his sitting with him or playing songs with him, and we go visit him every day, and I'll be buried there, Liz will be buried there. It's it's something that puts me at ease, because our time's gonna come at some point and we have to make the most of what we got here. But to know that there's a special place where we'll be for eternity, that's a heavy thing and something that I take really seriously.
What is next for you? You've just wrapped this tour.
Yeah, I know.
20th anniversary. I know it's hard.
It's heavy.
It's heavy. You've wrapped your 20th anniversary tour. What's next?
Yeah, so what's next is we are almost done with my new studio on the property. We have an old barn that has been my studio, and I'm turning it into version 2.0, so it's going to be a professional studio. So I've been writing a bunch of music, so I'm going to start working on my new album early this next year, 2024. So yeah, that new album, New Ben Kweller, coming out.
Fabulous. What can people look forward to in this new album? What are you exploring?
It's interesting. Because again, I think the expected thing would be oh my gosh, are all these songs going to be about loss and about Dorian? And some of them definitely are, but also you sit down to write a song and you might strive to write about something specific, but a lot of times words come to you that you don't even expect, and you prefer those to staying on the narrative. So I try to go with that stuff, the stream of consciousness stuff. That interests me the most as a lyricist. And so some of them are really upbeat and fun, and that's Dorian too, coming through and speaking to me. So it'll be hopefully just, I tend to make slightly schizophrenic sounding albums where it might be a piano ballad and then a rocker and then a folk song, and I think you'll get that. It'll be a Ben Kweller album. It's not going to be one specific vibe, but also you might see me next week and I'll be I'm making a piano ballad album. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just go where the music tells me to go.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for talking to me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for all the support.
Yeah.
Love you guys.